Hey everyone, wanted to put together this brief tutorial. This is going to be on what are rings and how do we count them. So one of the things that you might notice, especially if you haven't seen it before, the Guide for Ultimate Golf app, which is free to download. It is in the Android store. It is also in the Apple store, and you'll see here it is right here, Guide for Ultimate Golf. As soon as you get it downloaded, you'll see that it has a lot of information to go over. So one of the things, once we're in the game, and this is just a crosshair that I can toggle on and off. I'm going to keep it on so you guys can fully see exactly what the rings are. So one of the things you might see if I go into Win Calculator and I go to the driver and I input 7.9. What is the display it's giving me? It says 2.77 at max, and it says 2.63. But this is with Power 7 ball. We're going to switch it. It's going to move it about 1/10 of a ring. This lowers it to 2.68 and 2.54. So if we were to go here, this is our max line. This is the 2.68 max adjustment. The min adjustment is going to be down here, down where the wood is. In this case, you'll see that it's actually intruding on one another, and you do not have a lot of ring adjustment movement that you can do. But if you wanted to eyeball this and just go that we were going to go 2-3 rings here, and then we were to go and push the target back up, you'll see that we have a nice estimation, and then we can basically tee off using that ring adjustment. When you come down here to a little bit more usable club, so I wanted to just get this off the tee, but just give you an overview on how to adjust the rings. So when it says 2.68, think of this target as a full bullseye as being 10 rings. So if we were to count this linearly, this would be 1 ring, this would be 2 rings, this would be 3 rings, this would be 4 rings, this would be 5, and so forth. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is your full target there. So when we go into this tool, and for example, if we were to go down to the Sparrow, we were to type 7.8, you'll see a large span here. So the max is going to be at max club, the mid is going to be at 50% club, and the min is going to be at min club. So if we were to go all the way to max, you'll see this is the full span of the club, and you'll see that the hole or the front of the green here is maybe just beyond halfway. So this is maybe 50 to 60% club. So what we would use that information for is we would come in here and we would go right and pull right up to about 60%. You'll see that the adjustment's telling me about 1.6 rings. So this gives us a nice estimation for how much to go. And remember what I was mentioning, half of the bullseye is 5. So this is the first ring, this is the second ring, this is the third ring, this is the fourth, and this is the fifth. So 1.68 is going to be somewhere right around here. So we're just going to kind of put this right on the front and use this crosshair to kind of keep our alignment. So what this is going to do is it's going to give us a nice estimation for where we want to land. And of course, hitting your ultimate shot is going to be ideal. As you can see, it just kind of lands right where we set up. Everything we were missing some ball guide, didn't know how it was going to spin out. As you can see, that time it checked up really nice on that fringe. But it's one of those things that you just kind of take it as you go, and you just kind of utilize the tool to your advantage. So again, if you haven't downloaded it, it's called Guide for Ultimate Golf, and it is in the Android store and Apple iTunes store for free to download. So it's free for you to use. And with the Samsung device, you can see I can keep it right over top of the game, keep my adjustments very organized. So it's a very neat and useful tool for being able to utilize and count the rings and get those nice precision adjustments in your, especially for your early clubs. So one of the things that you'll see is greens like this, it's going to be very tough in the very early going to hit a good shot here. So one of the best ways might be to bounce it off this rough here, something to this. But how do you do this? That's where the app's going to come in. So you'll see we're kind of right towards the mid club a little bit. And we'll come 7.6. We'll switch to our Raptor. Mid-ish club is going to say maybe somewhere around 4.6. You got to be a little bit careful, because if you're short on your adjustment here, you'll see that it's going to hit the fairway. You have to avoid the fairway. But here you'll see 4.63 at this is going to be just short of 5 rings. Keep in mind that half of the target is 5, the other half is the other 5. So if I start here and I pull down, that's 4.6 rings. And one of the things that I'll do since I pulled down the lower ground is you'll see that I push the target up a little bit. Otherwise the ball tends to land a little bit short on you on this game. You need to avoid that. I'm also going to utilize a little bit of curl. What this does is it allows you to have a nice estimation and be able to still keep yourself from, you know, accidentally hitting the fairway, rolling it into the bunker. It gives you some room for error. Now, these adjustment values here, you know, let's say we were maybe somewhere down here, we're probably a little bit more towards min club. We probably could have went just a little bit less on that adjustment, but I needed to be careful. So you can see that I was over adjusting just to be a little on the safe side. But use this span as your club span. So as you get more towards min, use the value down here. As you get more towards max, use the value more like that. And what I mean by min versus max, let's go to the next tee box real quick, just so I can clear the air on that, because that's another very important concept that you need to know. So if we came back to this Raptor club, where this is the max. Where this is the min. So in this span, it's going to change that many rings. So if this was 8.0, it's between 5 and 2, 5.2 and 4 rings. So down here, the wind adjustment would only be 4 rings. Up here, it's going to be more 5. So you'll see in that short span, you have to add an extra ring for your adjustment. So this is something that you need to factor in as you're playing. So that's why we utilize those different values. As we push more up towards the max line, we use more of that 5 adjustment. So in that case, where it would be 5 rings, we would count, you know, maybe 5.2, and we would adjust right here. Now with this tee shot, you know, you'll pretty much just use your max ring adjustment. And you can utilize that just to get an idea of how many rings is that wind going to push it. It's going to be close to 3. So it's basically going to land over about 3 rings from where I set up the aim. And I did pull it to the right with the great ball, so you got to be careful. On very large fairway, it's going to be very easy to keep the ball in the fairway. Let's take a look. Ooh, that's an interesting adjustment. So 7.8. And you'll see we're going to have to use the max adjustment. We're going to go probably into overpower, so we're going to over adjust. Might want to anticipate about 3 rings here, just because. And we did catch our ultimate this time. Keep in mind that there's going to be bounce factors, so all of these bounces are going to, especially with all the runouts, it's going to cause it to kind of overplay more than it would with the backspin shot. So let's do one more example here, just to kind of solidify this topic home for everybody. So as I mentioned, this is going to be your max club line. So I just pulled to it. It's going to give me 3, 4, 5. However, we're not going to be shooting from there. This right here is about the halfway point. So if I was to come down to the halfway point, this is 50%. Now 50% doesn't mean go 50% less rings in this game. So you'll find that the 50% value, so let's go back in here. So 50% on 7.0 is 1 ring. This is going to be very close to where we need to go. That's one of the biggest challenges for new players to learn, is if max is 3.6, mid at 50% club, it's only just a tiny bit over a ring, because it spends so much less in the air, and the wind is like a multiplier. The farther it is, the more that you have to go. So let's turn this back on real quick. We'll do something like this. Very close to a 1 ring adjustment, 1.1. Of course, ultimate shot is going to be pivotal. You have to hit your, and it helps if you know the slopes and brakes. As you can see, I had the brake kind of mastered. The only thing I did is I brought it in a little bit too hot. 50% club, should have put on just a little bit of backspin, but you can see it lets us be able to precisely count and make that drop. So it's very pivotal that you understand those concepts. So best of luck out there, and see you guys next time. Take care.